Hey everybody, it's Javier and Mercedes here. We're gonna do our part 2 of our buying our dream home now, which is our inspections. So it's been now 7 days. The first few days we have the disclosures from the sellers, which is like a history of everything they've done to the house. We've reviewed that, nothing too crazy. I think they updated some nice things like air handlers and stuff like that, which are great for older homes. And the insurance claims history, which everything was fine there. So we came into the inspection, it was yesterday, and what was your biggest concerns coming into this, Mercy?
I was worried about the pool because it had some, you could see like on the side where they had little fountains coming down, it just was like peeling and stuff. So I was just anxious to see what we were going to hear back from that. Older
homes, they're great, they have character, but they always have old wiring, old piping, stuff that you don't usually see. And a lot of times people remodel an older home, but they don't really change the insides of it. So that was my biggest concern. And right off the bat, it started off pretty good, didn't it?
Yeah.
All in all, it's not bad at all.
Okay.
The plaster finish looks like it's fairly recent. I'm guessing, maybe 5 years or less.
Oh.
So that's in really good shape. We have a couple of smaller issues. The delamination of the deck over there. You can see the water feature there. It's probably getting some of the finish to peel off. So it's not a huge deal. Structurally, it's not an issue at all. It's more cosmetic.
Okay.
But still, that's something that we don't take care of now. It's just going to get worse and worse.
Right.
How do you take care of that?
So it'd basically be a patch job. It's
Okay.
like a mortar patch. So we have to scrape off all or flake off all the loose stuff and then refinish the concrete.
So that's just because of the water that...
Yeah, from that water feature.
Okay. Let me start off by saying this, that whenever you have an inspection, it's very like almost scary when you get there and the inspector's just there telling you everything that's wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong. Some inspectors tell you sometimes what's right with it, but it's usually not a good idea to just do the inspection and right away write the Benzer, because you're just so overwhelmed, like, oh my god, this house is horrible. So we took a day, took the night to think about it. We haven't even talked about it. She tried to talk to me and I'm go, wait, no, stop. So now that we have a day, we thought about it, we're sitting down, we're looking at the report. That's what I recommend you guys do as well. When you do your inspection, that initial shock is kind of scary. Yeah. Sleep on it. Especially because you're excited to see the house again, because you probably haven't seen it since you submitted your offer. And so you're just like excited to see it, and then you get there and it's like, there's this, and you get a whole list, and it's like, takes the wind out of you. Yeah. So the next day, just like we're doing now, but we're doing it on camera, go through the report, review everything again, and then you're gonna notice that the things he said that seems scary, or he or she said, that seems scary, isn't that quite scary. You can just say, hey, like one of the things he told me about was like the ventilation on the bottom in the backyard, like so the water would generally pool in the walls, and that's why there needs to be holes. Drainage.
So as far as conditions, the first one we're going to point out is the lack of drain blocks. So we don't have drain blocks along the side fence. So it doesn't seem like a huge deal, but
how do they get all the rainwater out then?
They don't. What it's doing is it's filtering under the wall. And you can see this is a condition called efflorescence. It's not bad because it doesn't rain often, but what will happen is it'll start basically deteriorating that concrete block.
So there's not holes there has to be holes made.
Yeah.
So when he told me that, I got terrified, but now that I thought about it, I'm like, he told me just get a chisel, get some holes, just little minor hers. It doesn't have to be a big thing. So what's your biggest thing?
The biggest thing after having done the inspection would probably be the AC.
The AC is from the 90s, late 90s.
97.
It's been maintained really well and it looks really nice, but the air handler's been replaced. A lot of things are great, but essentially because it's such an old AC unit, we're expecting to replace that in the next year or two.
Yeah, 5 years.
5 years. Yeah. So unfortunately, you can't really ask for a new AC because if it's working fine, what are you going to do? Like if there's some tune-ups needed, there's tune-ups needed, but unfortunately we kind of just have to bite the bullet on that one. So there's like little minor hairline cracks throughout the home, but we're not too worried. It's an older home. Yeah. They updated the windows for an older home. It's amazing. It has dual pane windows. No drainage on side fence. That's what we're talking about. Yeah. The roof they updated in the last 5 to 8 years. Once again, great for an older home.
They said 30-year shingles too.
30-year shingles. That's awesome. Some little leaks outside which we can take care of. I think. Water heaters also in the late 90s. But it's still up and running. It's gas in the home, which is, so the panel itself is really old and it's like not that many amps. It's 150 amps and a lot of the houses being built now are 200 amps. But the inspector said, do you remember what he said?
Yeah, he said it was because of the gas
stove, water heater,
yeah,
and furnace.
So that should be more than enough.
Okay, electrical box, 150 amp electrical service underground, so 150 is okay. The standard is going to be 200 amps for any new construction. However, you guys do have gas on site, which is feeding the furnace, it's feeding the water heater, it's feeding the stove.
Sweet.
So that's a whole bunch of power that you're not using. So it's going to be not an issue as long as we keep all our appliances. If you guys decide to go electric with everything, 150 will still be okay. But
they said they pigtailed the wires and the outlets. What does that mean?
Well, that's really good because that was the next condition. So there's about 2, 4, 5 circuits, 5 breakers that are running aluminum wiring. So aluminum wiring, the risk with that is fire risk. It carries a higher fire risk. So there's 2 different ways. I mean, other than replacing the wiring, there's 2 different ways to mitigate. The first one is going to be the anti-seize paste, which is the most common, where you go through in every connection, you dab, just glob this paste on there, and that stops the arc flash. It stops the spark. The second, method, which is not so common and really a better one, is the pigtail.
Yeah, he said that he hired an electrician when they bought the house, and they pigtailed every outlet.
Yeah. So what they do is they take. So the problem with aluminum is when you tighten the screw. Excuse me. When you tighten the screw on a copper wire. It tightens down, and then the copper will tend to expand. Yeah. So it holds, holds its place. Aluminum, if you crimple aluminum, it doesn't. So when you tighten the aluminum, the screw down on the aluminum, and then you start plugging and unplugging, plugging and unplugging, that screw is going to come loose. The aluminum is not going to expand. Once it's separation, then you get the arc flash. Gotcha. So that paste, what it'll do is it'll stop the flash, or they will pigtail, which is they'll add a 6-inch piece of copper wire on the very end, so that all your connections are actually made on
So
copper.
even though the aluminum will shrink or increase, the copper will stay in place.
Exactly.
Okay.
So they'll basically add a piece of copper on the end. The connection to the copper to the aluminum is a sealed connection that they do with some chemicals that heat up. It's a much better connection than that screw.
If we decide to switch those to electric, then he said it still may be okay, but it'd be a little on the high end.
I don't think so.
I don't think we.
Because gas stoves, las tortillas, boom, they're up and ready to go. You don't have to pretend to laugh on camera. It's not funny.
No, that was funny.
Okay, thank you. Outlet's not working. That's fine. Leaky dishwasher. I think we might ask them to fix that. We were thinking, considering just replacing the dishwasher with the fridge anyway, wine fridge.
A wine fridge, yeah.
We'll see. We'll talk about that more off camera. So I mean, wiring has been updated, the plumbing's been updated, the sewer line has a brand new sewer line. There's like a water stain that they need to explain in the ceiling, but the roof itself, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that is an old leak.
Stain, yeah.
And that's the thing, as we're going through this report, I have some knowledge of what to repair. Mercy's father has some knowledge of what he can do. So we're looking at the things we can do, and I go like, oh, I can take care of that. I can take care of that. Yeah. If you're not uncomfortable with doing stuff like, fixing leaks and whatnot, then get the buyer or the seller part in to fix it for you. Yeah. Most of this stuff, Mercy and I have bought 2 homes already. This is things we just have to we work with and we live with.
This is our 3rd home. And I'm just laughing because I think I've been spoiled having you as a husband and a realtor, because I get emails and I have no idea what they're for. So I'm kind of learning. I'm learning with you guys as we go.
It's a lot of stuff, but most of the stuff here I think we can take care of. I think we might ask for 2 or 3 minor things, but because it's an older home, our biggest concerns being the pool working, the plumbing, the things you really can't really see. We are anticipating the air conditioning and the water heater to give us issues, but we have a home warranty in place for the first year, which isn't a catch-all, but if there's repairs needed to be done, that should cover them. Yeah. Overall, inspection went phenomenal. I think we are... Once again, I'm saying phenomenal because, I can do most of these things, but it's all about perspective. If at the end of the day, the house itself is great, and there's gonna be things we need to fix. If I was a freaky buyer right now, I would say, oh, the AC is about to break down. Now I'm gonna cancel. Yeah. Every house is gonna have something. Well,
especially for this area, we knew going into it, the whole neighborhood is older homes, so we had some kind of semblance already of all right, we're gonna go in, we're gonna have to deal with some big things. So actually it was a good surprise to know that it's just best case scenario. If we're buying an older home, what we are actually going to get for it. It also has filtration, right? Water filtration.
Oh yeah, water filtration.
So that's
system.
like a bonus. Yeah.
Awesome. So pretty well, inspection went great. We already ordered the appraisal because it went so great that we're like, fine, let's go. We're gonna ask for 2 or 3 minor things that I personally don't want to take care of, which I think.
What are you thinking about doing?
I think like the water valve is leaking and it's like rusted already. I don't want to do that. The loose toilet, I don't know. I'll think about that. The backflow, there's like an irrigation line that's leaking. The bonding wire and the gas pipe, I think that's something I don't want to do. Man, this stuff still seems so minor though.
Yeah, it's just like you're nitpicking at this point.
Yeah, I'm probably just gonna do like I don't know anything about plumbing. I'm comfortable with like installing doors, cabinets, shelves, and stuff like that. I've never done anything AC.
Even some electrical we've done on our own, but yeah, we'd never do.
Yeah, like that. Check it out. I did that.
Yeah.
Poor buyers would buy this home.
That was a close one. We almost lost you.
So now that we're gonna wait on selling this home until after the appraisal gets back and we have a good indication that the value is good, and once we get at least a conditional loan approval with only the conditions being the appraisal and some very minor things, because I don't want something scary to pop up last minute that we necessarily don't know of.
Right.
And then, so once we have conditional loan approval and we have an appraisal back, then we're going to list this house and you guys are going to follow us through that journey. Also, if you can, please, Mercy was a little nervous making this video. She's a little shy, so she almost didn't make it with me. So please give her some love and support. Tell her how amazing it is to have her here. I know usually people watch me and they educate and whatnot, but I think it's great for having her on the ride as well.
Well, I was just telling you that I like I said before, because I've been through this process before, but I feel like I'm learning it again.
Yeah, every time we bought a house, I just sign everything and I do everything.
He would just email me. He's like, sign this, and obviously I'm gonna trust you. So, yeah. So I just felt like I feel like I don't really have a lot to contribute, but.
It's not true. She has a lot. We'll give you a tour of it vacant, and then once Mercy has it ready, which will probably be January of next year.
Probably like in 2 years.
2 years, then we'll give you a final
I'm still not done with this house, so yeah, it'll be a while.
So thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something from this video. Thank you for Gonzalo, who was a home inspector that helped us with the home inspection. If you guys are thinking and you're looking for a bilingual home inspector in the Phoenix, Arizona area, he is definitely your guy. And thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful day.